Most people would look at the last 27 years of your life, or at the life of someone who has spent the past 27 years in prison, and say to themselves, what a waste. What about you?
That is true. To spend 27 years at the prime of your life is a tragedy. And I regret, those years that I have wasted in prison. But there are very positive aspects too, because I had the opportunity to think about problems and to reflect on my mistakes. I also had the opportunity of reading very widely, and especially biographies, and I could see what men, sometimes from very humble beginnings, were able to lift themselves with their bootstrings and become international figures, and men were useful to society in their own community and to the world.
You are, I'm not flattering you now, you know what your reputation is on the outside world. You're one of the most widely admired men in the world. Whom do you admire?
Well, I admire many people. I admire them for their achievements and for their efforts. And sometimes admiration may fluctuate. I admired President Gorbachev and Mr. President Ronald Reagan when they decided to undertake this work of reducing international tensions. You must be aware, of course, that there was a selfish aspect, selfish element to my views, because international tensions could have exploded into a war, and we in South Africa would be forgotten. In fact, I was convinced that if there is anything South Africa would like to happen, is some international conflict which would remove the spotlight on their policies to the international plane. And when, therefore, these two leaders took this line, I was very happy indeed, because I could see that the leaders of the superpowers were now busy trying to reduce international tension, to encourage peace, and that was a development, which was very important. I also admired Margaret Thatcher, because when she first met Gorbachev, before he became president, she said, I like Gorbachev. I think I can do business with him. For a British Prime Minister to say that, because however much we may differ with her, a British Prime Minister is something very important. For her to say that of a man who was destined to be the leader of the socialist world was something very significant. And shortly thereafter, she flew to America and saw Mr. Reagan. I have no information as to exactly what she discussed with Mr. Reagan, but I suspect that she went there to brief President Reagan about Mr. Gorbachev. And I think, therefore, she has had a positive contribution towards the elimination of international tensions. And therefore, see, I must admire them. Then, of course, there are the leaders, you see, of the Scandinavian countries, France, Holland, because they have been very supportive of our struggle. And now, of course, you're having the whole of Europe, the whole of Africa, and almost the whole of the entire world, and the leaders of the frontline states, Kaunda, who has hosted us for so many years, Robert Mugabe, Kwet Masire, Mr. Chisano, and Eduardo dos Santos, and now Sam Nujoma. I admire these men, you see, for their achievements.